All right, let's talk. Let's have a hard talk about accountability. We're big on that, right? That's what we're supposed to be on the right. Accountability, hold people accountable, get what you earn, that kind of stuff. Well, in the wake of a loss, people are always looking to blame someone. It's that old line JFK used, and I think he stole it from someone else. Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. No one wants to take responsibility for it, but the people who are angry, you, me, election didn't go the way we wanted, we want someone or someones to blame. When I wake up the morning after the election that I thought was going to be a red wave and you thought was going to be a red wave and it turned out to be a little red drip, I want to know who and what is responsible for that. Now, I need to clarify something. The answer to that question, especially when it comes to elections, is rarely as simple as we make it out to be. I know what you do after an election. You know how I know? Because it's the same thing I do. I find the person I like and I say it's not their fault, and I find the person I don't like and I say it is their fault. That's what we do, right? If you're a huge Trump fan, you'll say it wasn't Trump's fault at all, it was McConnell's fault, he sucks. If you hate Trump, McConnell did fine, what did Trump do? But let's have a talk, an honest talk about this. Donald Trump is not elected right now. Donald Trump is most definitely not elected in the United States Senate right now. He's not a senator. He's a former president of the United States of America. We do not have the Senate. That is a huge deal. That means they still control all these critical Senate committees like the Judiciary Committee and things like that. Us not having the Senate is really bad. And we should have. And we could have. So it's time to assess who is responsible. And if we're going to do this, we have to go to leadership first, no matter what we do. Doesn't matter what you love Trump, hate Trump, love McConnell, hate McConnell, the establishment, far right, doesn't matter what you are. You have to go to the leadership of the responsible parties. If I take over the McDonald's, and in the first year we do $50 billion less in sales than McDonald's did the year before, they're not going to come knock on my secretary's door and say, pack up her stuff. They're coming to me because I'm in charge. And it looks like support for ousting Mitch McConnell might be building. You know this because it's one thing to criticize somebody. It's another thing entirely to criticize somebody publicly. That changes the conversation. That changes everything. If I have an argument with my sister privately, that's fine. We'll get over it in a day. It'll be fine. If I have an argument with my sister and I hop right on Twitter and say, my sister's such an idiot, I may never talk to her again. Public versus private. Josh Hawley going public is not a small thing, it's a big thing. Quote, the old party is dead. Time to bury it and build something new. All right, so what do we know? It's easy to punch on Mitch McConnell because he didn't have a lot of fans, right? I mean, you've seen 1,000 Trump fans, maybe you are one. Heavy D fans, maybe you are one. I love this guy, I love that guy. Have you ever met a Mitch McConnell fan outside of Washington, D.C.? I do this for a living, and I haven't. You can always find some D.C. consultant whose bread's been buttered by McConnell, but other than that, no one's a fan. So he's the one we're all jumping on. Well, is that fair? Yeah, it is fair. I'm not going to go over what I went over before in a previous show, but let's go to Arizona. I mean, people were talking about Blake Masters. Blake Masters went on TV, had this to say.
Senate Leadership Fund, Mitch McConnell. McConnell decided to spend millions of dollars attacking a fellow Republican in Alaska instead of helping me defeat Senator Mark Kelly. Had he chosen to spend money in Arizona, this race would be over. We'd be celebrating a Senate majority right now. And so my message to the people of America, my message to actually the Republican senators, let's not vote Mitch McConnell into leadership. He doesn't deserve to be majority leader or minority leader. You get a choice. You can stand with your constituents and stand with Americans, or you can stand for Mitch McConnell. I will leave it to the viewer to decide whether it is just malice or whether it's gross incompetence. But clearly Mitch McConnell cares about Mitch McConnell and less about a Senate majority or the people of America. I think we need a change. That's why I ran for office. And one way or another, change is coming.
Okay, let's talk about that. What do you see there? Is that just sour grapes? Now, there's a good chance you like Blake and don't like Mitch. But let's be honest adults here. What's he talking about? Is that legitimate? Well, I told you before. I ran for office in Arizona. Arizona has two things that when you combine them makes for a big problem if the national party screws you out of critical campaign money. What are those two things? One, they have a very, very late primary. It's in August. That sucks, man. That's awfully close to November. But wait, there's more. It's not just that they have a very late primary. It's that half of Arizona voters vote early. Vote early by mail. Half of them. What's that mean? Half the voters are voting a matter of weeks after the primary's been decided. Now, what happened during those weeks? What happened? Mitch McConnell announced that his big old rich PAC was yanking millions of dollars out of Arizona, not only depriving Blake of those dollars, but announcing to other donors around the country that this race isn't winnable. Eventually, money did come in post-early voting, and Blake did come roaring back. I believe he won on election day. I think they're still looking at that right now. But early voting, lost. Critical Senate seat, lost. Mark Kelly, $79 million spent. Blake Masters, $12 million spent. Now, maybe you're sitting there saying to yourself, $12 million is a whole lot of money. Not compared to $79 million. And remember, when you start talking about money in politics, I know it can kind of feel scummy, right? Ugh, money, and it's a waste. It feels like a waste. They're wasting money. Why are they wasting money? Understand this, please. You are an informed voter. You're sitting there right now on your TV, phone, iPad, however you're watching. You're sitting here watching I'm right now. Why? You have all kinds of viewing options. You could be watching anything, but you choose to come here. Why? Because you're a highly informed voter who cares about politics. If every voter was like you, nobody would need to spend a dime on politics. However, sadly, they're not like you. Most voters, they don't pay attention. The vast majority of them. All those issues you know about, did you hear what this guy did, this guy's scandal here, did you hear about this? You know all these things? The average voter knows none of these things. Most voters. If you don't have the money to reach the average voter when he sits down at night and turns on a baseball game, then you're going to lose. $12 million versus 79 was already over. And to his point, Mitch McConnell took those millions of dollars and instead spent them against another Republican in the primary in Alaska. And need I point out, the Republican, surprise, surprise, he spent that money on was one of the ones you would like and I would like. And who was he spending that money on behalf of? Lisa Murkowski, who's practically a Democrat. There is no way Mitch McConnell should be able to survive this kind of Senate loss and the choices he made allocating his money. So Tom Cotton, as much as I agree with Cotton on the issues, is flat out wrong on this, and it is unacceptable.
Well, I don't see why we would delay the election since all 5 or 6 of our leadership elections are uncontested. You know, the great wrestling champion Ric Flair used to say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And so far, no one's had the nerve to step forward and challenge Senator McConnell. So I support Senator McConnell.
Run then. When you have an embarrassment on this scale, and then you combine that with the choices that were made by Mitch McConnell, that is not somebody who can continue to lead the senators. And I'll tell you, I don't know whether it's Cotton, Hawley, Cruz, Paul, I don't know who. But I will be seriously disappointed if not one Republican in the United States Senate has the guts to step up and challenge Mitch McConnell. Seriously disappointed. If that happens, shame on all of you. Even the ones I love, even my friends. Shame on all of you if none of you have the courage to step up.